Welcome to Film Study, an All American podcast with Lexi. I'm Lexi. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'm back with another episode from the vault. We recorded this a few months ago. So, again, opinions may have changed or stayed the same. It's really funny that I'm releasing this episode now because if you look on my Twitter, it's pretty timely as of recent. But hope you enjoy it. And yeah, I'm excited because these two people that I have on today have actually been supporters of the pod for a while. Like early on. Don't know why I said that 3 times. But so to have Steph and Nikki on and their Twitter names will be dropped in the description. Um Before we hop into it, can I just say both of y'all are so active on Twitter, and I'm jealous. Like, I'm like literally all of the information as it comes. Specifically, you Nikki, you like tag me and stuff. I'm like, what? Okay, and we got a new synopsis.
Can I explain why?
Yeah. Go ahead.
My brand name. You know how you have All American Global? Mine is
Right.
All
Yeah.
American Reels. I have
Nice.
I do Twitter, I do Tumblr, I do YouTube, I do Facebook. It's just all around. That's my content.
That's
I've
amazing.
been live with a lot of the cast members from All American, so
So cool.
it's
That's so
my
dope.
job. So All American Reels on Twitter, on Instagram, YouTube, Tumblr. That's what I mostly do.
That's so cool. They need to hire you for real.
Right.
Because you keep me updated for sure. So let's hop into it. We're talking about the funny thing about our topic today, which I don't know why I'm leaving people in suspense. It's about Jordan and Layla. But the funny thing about our topic today is that I got a question in my forums about this, and I was just like, they don't have enough moments for me to cover a whole podcast on this. But
Right.
given season 4 episode 1, they
Oh
didn't double
yeah.
their moments, but it seemed like they doubled their moments, so I guess they
It's
have
like
enough moments now.
they were
Just was
really
a
making
lot
up for
in
lost time.
season 4 than I'd say season 3, season 2, or season 1 put together.
Yeah.
Put
Really
I don't
making
know
up
if
for
put
lost
together.
time.
I mean,
No,
well,
it's
they
just
really
like
didn't have scenes together in season 1.
They were definitely more in the background. That's what I'll say.
yeah. It was
Before,
like they just like hung out. Sorry, Lex, to cut you off. They were
no,
just
no,
like
no, no, no. Go ahead.
it was just like group moments. They were just like in the
Right.
background, never really conversed one on one. So
Yeah, for sure. So we'll get into it. Yes, we're getting into it.
hmm
First question. How about we start off, Steph and then Nikki? Uh,
sure.
Overall thoughts on Jordan and Layla. Actually, before you answer, I was like thinking about calling this like Jordan and Layla. Will they? Won't they? Should they? Shouldn't they? But that's too long, so I don't know
No,
what I'm
I
gonna
like
call this
it. I like
podcast.
it.
But
It's
listen, we
nice.
have like heading limits on these things, so I don't know. Maybe it would just be like, will Jordan and Layla get together like every other person does?
It's like
But
Jordan and Layla. Let's see what happens.
yeah, I like that. So Steph, what are your overall thoughts on them?
Um, I,
Be
I,
honest. Be honest.
I, honestly, I don't want them to be together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I see their relationship as more of a friendship. I see them more as like brother and sister. I, on top of that, we haven't gotten enough scenes with them together for me to see them as anything more. And so that's why after Monday night's episode, I was like, whoa, this is a lot. Like they're kind of just like throwing whatever this may be at us. Which is like if it's a friendship, that's great. That's cool. But I don't get the romance vibes from them. And I really love Simone and Jordan together. I feel like their relationship has really grown and evolved, and they're in love and they've been through so much. So I just don't see how Jordan could be the same way with Layla that he is with Simone. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's entirely fair. And I like Jamon too, as well.
Yeah.
I've said this many times, but I want to say it again.
Yeah.
What about you, Nikki?
Do you know the girl that does the All American videos? Her name's Erica.
Oh yeah, yeah, Erica Vane. Yeah.
Well, we were on live and she was talking about Jordan and Layla, and I was telling her if I had seen more during season one, it may have changed my mind. I never felt. I may be wrong. Please don't come for me. I've never seen. I've never seen them
Yeah.
be romantic in that way, other than I'd say like Steph said, brother sister type of
Yeah.
relationship. There's
Yeah.
certain like
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd say vibes or certain things you'd see,
No, yeah, I get it. Yeah,
and it just
it's yeah.
and no offense to the cast, Michael and Greta are amazing,
Mhm.
but you can't just throw a couple of little scenes together and think, oh, this is Endgame. No offense to anyone that does ship Jordan and Layla. That's just my opinion. I have not seen anything. I could be wrong. I could be wrong this season.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows what's happening? Only the writers in the writers' room, and I'm almost certain
Exactly.
they don't even
Yeah.
know. I feel like um, you know you get to storylines by asking like the what if questions, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
like what if this happens, and then this would happen, and so on and so forth, and so they have a general like trajectory of the show, but uh, for these specific details, you don't know until you write it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so my overall thoughts. I think I've been very clear of my overall thoughts about Jordan and Layla,
Most definitely you
but
have.
you're coming for me on my podcast.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
Lexi,
I'm
explain
kidding. I'm kidding.
yourself.
I'm kidding. I'm just messing around. I'm just messing around.
I'm
I love it. I
sorry,
love it.
Lexi.
Please come for me. Please come for me.
Yeah.
No.
I see you liking them Jordala tweets, Lexi. I
Of
see you.
course. Yes, I do. Gladly.
Hmm.
I admit it.
It's all right.
No,
We
but
be liking these Bolivia tweets over here.
yeah, I love Olivia. That's
Yeah,
a
it's
well, yeah.
Yes.
Olivia all day.
My love
I've
for
been seeing
Olivia is very
Bolivia
clear.
tweets on Billy. Y'all be coming for him, and not to lie, so have I.
Always coming for Billy because he's trash.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But yeah, no. So I've made my thoughts on them very clear, and actually, I'm glad that you're both here because I've had a couple of people on, and every time we've talked about Jordan and Layla, it's been people that like besides Manda want them to happen.
Yeah, Manda.
And Manda, I'm not going to tell you a little secret, but yeah, I just told her secret to the audience because Manda on the side, she's been saying some stuff.
Uh-oh. What has
She's gonna
Manda
come
been
for me in the
saying?
comments.
Ooh.
No,
Manda.
I'm literally just messing around with her, but yeah, no, I enjoy them. I think uh, if I'm being honest, I think the probably in I watched season one and seasons two close together because
Mhm.
season two was already out by the time I watched season one, and so it was like I watched season one on Netflix and then like the latter half of like season two. Like I caught up on the episodes, and then as it was coming on, I saw like sort of the shooting in the cotillion. So the cotillion I think was one of
Okay.
the first episodes I saw live
Uh-huh.
um, of season two, and that is the moment where I was just like, oh, and I had been watching these all in succession, right? So it's been like
Right.
very quickly, so it wasn't as spaced out, and I was just like, oh, Jordan's giving Layla some interesting looks
Yeah, I
as they're going in, and so that was my first impression of them, and it kept that in the back of my mind. I was always a Spilivius shipper, so I knew that, or I had a feeling, right, that
right.
Spencer and Layla would not last.
Right.
Um, and then as we got into season three, again, very focused on what was happening with Spencer and Olivia on the first watch, like
Right.
what happened in Vegas, what's going down. And then as I started to like rewatch, that's when after finding out what happened with Spencer and Olivia, because that was first and foremost, keep
Mm-hmm.
the main things the main things.
Yeah. Like full undivided
And
attention.
exactly. But then on the rewatch, that's when I started to clue in more to Jordan and Layla, and they became. I've always liked Layla, which I know is unpopular in some circles, right? But yeah, just clue in more into their story, and they became a little bit more compelling to me. Especially as we got some of their moments in season three. But yeah,
Hmm.
those are my overall thoughts, and
I was
yeah,
just
they're just
thinking about
interesting.
this. I was
Yeah,
thinking about this yesterday, and I feel like if so, circling back to the cotillion episode, you said when I wasn't expecting Jordan to walk up to Layla, so when I saw that, I was like, that's interesting. So I felt I don't know if the writers were trying to like clue in on something or whatever, but I feel like if they wanted to make us think that they could be a thing, they should have kept giving us little moments here and there of them, instead of maybe like putting Jordan like all up in Simone's
backlogging it.
business, you know? Yeah.
Right. Well,
And
and
here's the
let's
thing
go
I've been
to
thinking about too.
before we get into that. Let's like hop to season one really
Hmm.
quickly. I
All
know that
right.
they didn't have moments on their own, which is right why people are like, what's happening now? But I
Hmm.
think in the background there were some things, there were some little seeds planted in the background.
You think?
I think specifically when we
Hmm.
think of see the pilot episode, right? He follows Layla, as she's going to Spencer when they first
Hmm.
meet all together in that group, and
Yeah.
he's always looking at her, like when they had the pool party at his house, like following her as she's talking to Spencer. And so there's those little sort of moments in the background that nobody catches.
Yeah, I saw
Well, I'm
that.
one of them. I'm one of them. I didn't really think too much into it.
I didn't think much into it either. I just thought that maybe he was kind of like because Asher's his bestie, like he was kind of like looking out for him, and
Yeah,
maybe
of
also from
course.
like the brotherly standpoint, like trying to be protective. Like what is she doing around Spencer? You know?
Right. Absolutely. Um, and so yeah, it's just like those. The thing about like TV is that it's all up to people's interpretation and like how
Hmm.
people see those seeds, because it's just like was it brotherly instincts, or was it um
Something
was it looking
more.
at Asher, or was it something more? Exactly.
Yeah.
And then as we get into season two, and we have the, like I said, the moment at the beach, and then like I said, for me, right, I didn't even notice those moments up
Hmm.
until watching the cotillion, and I was just like,
Yeah.
hmm.
That moment at the
What's
beach was cute.
this?
It was
The moment
cute.
at the beach was cute, but
That's
I can
true. That's
absolutely
true.
see how that can come up, like that, how people view that as like him being protected. I can see how like people view all of their moments as him
Yeah.
just being like a protective and a good friend, for
Hmm.
sure, for sure.
I didn't think about that either.
But so, give me a little bit more insight into like how you see him as a friend, specifically like at the like in season two, and like at the cotillion, and maybe after it, and we can go into season three.
Yeah, I think Jordan, he like after everything that Leia had been through, didn't she just get out of rehab by the time the
Right? Yeah.
cotillion rolled around? Yeah, so I
Hmm.
think he was just like in, this like past Monday night's episode, just like showing some concern, wanting to make sure that she was okay, especially considering that Spencer was already with Olivia for this cotillion. Layla probably went there by herself. So I think
Right.
that he was just going to check in on her and, let me take you to your seat. I'll walk you, just to see how you're doing.
Yeah. And playing devil's advocate against my own self, right? He
Hmm.
even like took her to go dance with Spencer.
Yeah. He saw that that Spencer dancing with Kia was kind of upsetting her, or that she was sad that she had kind of maybe ruined a potential relationship with Spencer, so he did bring her, and I thought that
Right.
was really sweet of him.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was sweet of him as well. And it was just the Cotillion episode as a whole is just a really
It's one of my favorites. It's just it was so perfectly done, and yeah,
exactly. Exactly. It's a really sweet episode. And to
yeah.
that point, right, we see around this time, right, that's when he and Simone were getting closer.
Hmm.
Especially after the shooting is when they really started to um, connect connect again. I think because I think before the shooting and before the thing with his dad, like when Simone helped his dad out and like let
Hmm.
Jordan know that something was going down there,
Yeah,
um, it was more about like the baby for
it
them, right?
was.
Or
Yeah.
exact. And so as we get later on into that season, and she's like helping him out, that it's starting to see like, oh, she's actually started to develop feelings for him and seeing
Hmm.
how maybe like nice he is with his how good their family is, which is something that is coming up a lot recently because this is another podcast for another day, but it's really interesting how people view the Bakers as this great family unit,
Yeah.
and just
They really
it's a
do.
very interesting perspective, right, to have. And I think the perspective makes sense if you take Billy out of the equation.
Yeah. I think from an outsider standpoint, it's the mom and the dad, they have these two kids, and I feel like the Baker twins are like the center of like their friends' lives, and so
Right.
they look to them as a support system. And Asher has his problems with his parents, and Layla's dad's always gone, and so I feel like the Bakers just it's just the Bakers. It always seems like they're like the perfect answer,
Yeah, yeah. And to that point, and as we get
even though Billy's
into
trash, but
even though Billy Strauss, exactly. And to that point, as we get into season 3, something I always harp on is that Layla sees the Bakers as her real family. Um,
yeah.
and so
I
that's
mean,
just a
it's been
point that I think
proven
is so
now.
interesting. Yeah, it's been proven now, right? And she said it way back when during the birthday party and different things like that, where she also
Yeah.
did hug him. I might add, she's hugged him a couple times.
Yeah, yeah, yep, the Baker's birthday party
Yep,
episode, she hugged
yep.
him,
She
and
hugged
yeah,
him. She hugged
I
him
was like, "Ooh."
in like the hallway at school. There's a couple
And then
of
at the
times.
party.
I'm just saying, there's seeds. There were some seeds.
Yeah, I peeped that, but I didn't want to read into it too much.
No, I know, and I absolutely wanted to read into it.
Yeah, I guess that's okay.
No, I know.
I didn't think too much into it, like a brother and sister hugging. I
Right.
didn't think into it, but now that I go back and think, yeah,
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like it absolutely could be a brother and sister hug. And again, it's just like what they could like not have any other moments besides that moment that they had in like the most recent episode, right? And
Hmm.
like we don't know what the writers are gonna do,
Yeah.
but so into season 3, obviously it's Layla's been removed a little bit from rehab.
Hmm.
She's sort of becoming more confident. That starts to deteriorate as she sees what happens, like, or hears what happens, right, in Vegas and
Hmm.
sees Spencer and Olivia getting closer and all of this stuff. At the same
Yeah.
time, Jordan is becoming more, I think, in tune with Simone and more closer to Simone, and their love is building, um, and we get to see him really trying to be there for someone.
Yeah.
And I think uns like, and I don't know if I could always say that Jordan's selfish. I need to do a
No,
deeper
no,
dive into
I think
Jordan.
you can, because I feel like, no, seriously, because after being with Simone and going through everything, like with the baby and with his dad, like like getting out of the house and all that stuff, I think that Jordan became more aware of the people around him and started to think about others and their feelings. And so
Right.
yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, he still has his moments, but I think that he's come around into being a much better person.
Oh, I
I can
agree.
say that too,
I
most
agree.
Yeah.
definitely.
I
But
agree.
the same thing with Asher too. I think it's all just evolving and growing. Some of them may not handle it as well as they should have.
Yeah. I think
Right,
Asher still
right.
has some evolving and growing to do though.
He
I mean,
definitely. Asher
season
has a
3
lot to
he's
make up for.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah.
He has a lot to make up for.
Oh,
To my point about Jordan, I think that uh, I'm thinking season one, and yes, he was selfish in season one,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I want to do some more study to figure out if he was like really selfish or was that like daddy issues. Do you know what I mean?
I'd say would
Mm,
be more daddy
yeah,
issues. You
yeah.
have a prodigy in this house, and your dad's going up and patting him on the back, calling him son and stuff.
Right,
Yeah,
right. And
no.
I
It was
just
yeah.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's just interesting because I'm like trying to remember moments, and he absolutely had selfish moments. That's not what I'm saying, but
He did.
uh yeah, he
Like the
was
daddy moments, the daddy issues sparked that.
right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. And so, but we see him in season three again becoming more unselfish, right? Like trying
Mhm.
to be there for Simone as she's thinking about taking her baby back, and saying that like they're maybe they don't know everything about each other, but that's okay. Um, and for some reason in season three, they decided to have him like tell people besides Layla some advice.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, but sure, okay, okay. We're gonna trust that Jordan suddenly has become good at giving
Yeah,
advice.
it's Jordan Pickett, right?
Jordan, Jordan Pickett,
Yeah.
Smith. I'm gonna add the Smith because it
Yeah,
goes along
Ada
without the
Smith.
Smith.
Yeah, he's
Exactly.
become like a he's he's been given a lot of advice lately.
He
Wise grown
has.
man. That's what
Exactly.
marriage does
It's
to you, I guess.
so I can't. It's so annoying to me because he's so up and down in general. Like
Yeah,
I just can't.
right.
But yeah, uh, they have made him sort of go on this sort of like this marriage journey and become more wise because of it.
Hmm.
Or wise at moments, like at times, again because he is so up and down, and he still very much has his anger issues and still much just blows up, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, he's he's definitely an interesting character. That's
he
all I'll
is.
say.
He's wishy washy.
He's very wishy-washy. He's very up and down, very hot and cold.
Yeah.
um but yeah, so they're going through sort of like separate things, Jordan and Layla.
Hmm.
And one of the first moments that we get together of them this season is when, you know, after the Vegas thing hits, right, and they run into each other at the hangout.
Yeah.
Um, and she um, basically tells him, she's just like, I just don't want people to think that I'm mentally unstable, or like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not strong enough to handle like what's happening. And he tells her that she's the strongest person that he knows. What did you
Yeah.
all think of that
One of the
scene?
strongest people he knows. I was like, okay. um I think that was really nice for him to say. She needed to hear that. Um because clearly, I mean, she wasn't being reassured by the people in her life of that. So I think that Jordan, it was nice of him to say that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just
for sure.
yeah. I don't know.
You're
That
to
that's
be Monda one for a second. She's like, oh, and Liv isn't the strongest person that he
no,
knows.
I don't yeah, I was gonna say that, but definitely I feel like Jordan doesn't give that same energy to Olivia sometimes. So I was like
Yeah.
I had the same thought as Monda, like, Jordan, why don't you go tell that to your sister? But it's alright.
Just yeah,
I
I
digress,
I literally just have such a fun time with that when she says that, because I tend to I again love Liv and think that Jordan absolutely should be more consistent in
Hmm.
her life. But I cut him a little bit of slack on that one. What, because one, one reason is because he says one of the most strongest people, and
Yeah,
also like
true.
they're siblings. Like it's
Yeah.
like "Ugh, I hate you. Okay, do you want to get some food later? Yes. Like
Yeah,
it's that type of
exactly.
vibe.
Exactly. Exactly. He's like,
And
I
so
don't need
I
to tell
kind
it
of
to live. Like she knows. Like,
exactly. She knows. She
Yeah,
knows.
yeah, she knows.
Um, and so anyway, so that was their first scene, and it was interesting. And they again have a little hug moment. He gives another very interesting look, which at the time I was watching, and I'm like, you have a whole entire wife, sir. What are you doing?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, where's Simone?
Where is Simone at this moment?
Where is
Right?
Simone? She's never
Where
around for
is
those.
Simone?
She's never around during those
The
times.
writers do her dirty sometimes.
Yeah,
These
they
episodes. I
are. They yeah.
literally like she should have been in the last episode too. But Nicole, what did
She
you
should
think of
have.
that? Sorry, Nikki, what did you think of
Um,
that scene?
I'm gonna give you my unbiased
Do
opinion.
it.
And for this one, I was a little more shocked when season 3, episode 8 came with that little clip because you see a glimpse in his eye,
Hmm.
actually. And that's something I didn't see before. So then when I had got on my phone and was checking, because everyone was talking about that scene, because I had no idea there was a ship named for them. And you know how
Mm.
Michael likes trolling?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he
Michael be
loves trolling.
trolling,
He's
and then
trolling
Yeah,
Jeffrey
so
comes
especially
to
with the new
snatch him
like
up.
photo.
three, but like what, four times in the 1 week alone? Yes.
Yeah, he's been doing a
Going,
lot.
he was just helping his friend out.
Mm,
Um, I I like the scene.
Hmm.
I wish he'd be a little more consistent with his sister, especially with everything she goes through. I
Right.
yeah.
think it helped Layla because betrayal is very hard.
Hmm.
With these love triangles
Yeah.
for all American.
Yeah.
Bless these people's hearts with how much trouble these kids, not trouble, trauma
Right.
within all
There's
these
so
kids.
much. They
So
go
I
through
think
so
she needed
much.
Yeah, it's
reassurance.
a
Right.
lot.
She does not have that relationship with her father, her mother. Bless her heart is, she's gone. So the Bakers really were her family,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's been proven. I I was glad that Jordan had been able to convince her because I don't think her and JJ are friends like that, and I know her and Jordan. I mean, her and
JJ.
Asher are
Ooh,
all right, all right.
does JJ have
No.
any serious scenes?
Her
I
and
can't.
Asher are all right, but Jordan
Right.
Jordan is someone that they've had, I'd say, a little connections.
Right.
Be- you see it within his eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was this like glimpse, this little like star
But was it a
in his
brotherly
eyes.
glimpse, or like
I
was it just a protective glimpse?
I really, can I be honest with you?
Yeah. Be honest.
It looked like he was like a little. I'm not comparing Spolivia and Jordan and Layla. You know how Spencer
Ooh,
has this
you
stare at
sound like you're about to
Uh-uh.
say something serious.
No
You said I'm
comparisons.
not comparing, but
not,
no,
not
no.
not comparison, but you know how he's staring at Olivia.
Yeah.
He kind of had that stare towards Layla, and it's something I have never
Ooh.
noticed when I was watching
Ooh.
this
Uh,
show.
I
I
just think
was,
he was kind of like proud,
He was proud. You saw it as a proud.
like seeing her walk away, just like she's gonna be all right, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any way you can compare Jordan staring at her walking away to Spencer and Olivia. That's just
I
no.
mean, I'm not saying that they're the new slow burner, nothing like that. I'm saying how he's looking at her. He looks like he's proud, like he likes her,
Interesting. Interesting. I think
and that's something I kind of noticed.
right. Yeah. He definitely
But
I'll say this. Michael plays in love very well, I
Yeah.
think.
mhm.
There was something in his eyes. I don't know what, but there
Uh,
was something. There was a
it
little
was
change
a little
there. There
twinkle. It
was
was
a
a
little
little
change there. It
twinkle.
was a little
It
twinkle.
was a twinkle.
Yeah.
But what's more interesting to me, let me put on my little nerd hat here, is the fact that again, this is actually something I recently noticed.
Mhm.
in that scene, right, that he doesn't even really, he sort of like greets her, they say hey, whatever. And because we've been focusing on Jordan a lot and like the looks that Jordan gets.
Yeah.
But Layla, it was so interesting because um she didn't even let him really say anything before she
Yeah.
was just like, stop, don't want to put you in the middle.
Yeah, she was kind of like in a rush. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't want to put you in the middle. Like she's your sister.
Oh,
Like
but I mean, like
just
she noticed what he was gonna say before he
yeah,
even
she
said
did.
it.
Trying to shut it down, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and very much again not trying to put him in the middle. And
Mhm.
again, she hugged him, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say. I'm saying if you look at most of their hugs, she has hugged him. Just putting that out there.
Lexi.
Just
Yeah.
putting
No,
that out there.
yeah.
We know who your canon ship is.
My canon ship, it's definitely Spolivia,
She
but this
has.
one is just it's just fun.
Endgame. I'm sorry, Endgame.
Oh, are they in game? I don't know if they're in game. I think that depends on how well Homecoming does, to be honest. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, she hugs him quite a lot. I'll just say maybe not
Yeah,
a
it's
lot,
been
but
like 3 times,
yeah, it's
right?
that's a lot for their
Didn't
number of
she hug
Emperor.
him in like?
It was like twice in the twins' birthday episode, and then in episode 8 of season 3.
Why did I think she hugged him in episode 18 of season 3?
No,
No,
they were doing their whole
she
little
left the room.
COVID distance thing.
Yeah,
Man, that sucked. I miss beach scenes. I miss actual class
Right,
scenes.
right. She did do a little cute little thing in early season 2 when she took the football from him. Um,
yeah,
but it wasn't a hug. But now that you mention episode 18, his wedding, which by the way
mm,
is again, and to be fair, this is a great, excellent point, is that she was a bridesmaid
she was.
in his wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So she, you know,
Wait, wasn't
what,
she
how,
Simone? Was she Simone's maid of honor? Because it didn't look like Simone had any other
I was very
bridesmaids.
confused
I
about
know.
that. They just
No,
like they did her again, did her so dirty. Where are her
they did.
friends?
Like, where are her friends? And especially since Olivia was on Jordan's side, as the best man. Like is Layla the only one for Simone? I
Yeah,
don't know.
that was really strange. I will say, like, it was literally
Yeah.
just it was Jordan's friends, and then like his parents' like friends.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, JJ had to go for like a strip club thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
JJ wasn't even
JJ
there.
wasn't even there. It was very
JJ was
interesting.
butthurt, so we booked a flight back to Vegas.
Right,
That,
exactly. He was just
yeah,
Well,
like,
didn't
I'm
they say
taking my
like
ball and
he's like a
going.
stripper or something?
yeah, huh?
Right.
Didn't they say like he was a stripper or
Right, that's when they
something?
explained it. I'm glad that we had this
Yeah.
conversation, this little aside, because we forgot about their moment, right? Another one of their moments is him saying how in love he was with Simone.
Oh yeah, Vegas.
I
Yeah,
personally think that's one of that's my favorite scene of Michael, is like when he's just like, I even miss her
yeah,
now. How weird is that?
yeah.
I think
Michael
that's
can
great.
play like the in love, like sweetheart thing really well.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
So that's another thing, is that they have had conversations, right, about how they
yeah,
are wanting other people. The cotillion, like she wants Spencer, that's very clear. Vegas, he wants Simone, and that's very clear. Yes, and so that was Vegas, and again, so she's shifting back to 18. She's
hmm,
in his wedding, and so she's trying to get this boy married, and he's trying to be married.
yeah.
So they're both into different people, and he's very much in love,
hmm As he should be.
as he should be, as he
Yeah,
should be.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have this little conversation.
they do. Yes. When
I don't
Jordan
know
and
why I'm
Asher are
laughing.
like in Olivia's room using her mirror, like what is
Yes,
going on?
they do
Yeah.
have a little bit of a conversation, and I don't know. It's
It
just
was
interesting.
it was interesting. Yeah, she
It
yeah.
was, but I didn't realize how long they have known each other. I didn't think they knew each other. How they're talking about like when they were 10 or
Right,
11.
Yeah.
right.
I had no
Yeah,
idea.
Right.
I just figured they had known each other for a while, but right when she brought up the ages, it was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Two things about that. One is I love that now that the show has a little bit of runway, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they're getting more episodes. Number one on Netflix for a while. Like
Yes.
we're getting to dig deeper into people's backstories, right? It's not just
Right.
because we will dig into Spencer's backstory because he's the main character. But now that they have some room, like they can explore these things. Like they explored like Layla and Olivia like making snacks when they were kids or whatever, you know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's nice that they're like having,
The little fort.
yeah, well, not even the four. It was
The
season three when Carrie,
canapes.
yeah, the canapes
Yeah,
that
that's
Carrie
true.
called.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Wedding
so funny.
food.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Just the little finger foods that they had. I
Yeah, it was
forget the
cute.
names that they called each other, but it's nice that they're starting to have these more callback moments, and that was another one. Is when Layla was mentioning that she got very specific too.
She did.
The Jordan's dream has always been playing Pac-12 football and
With his
being in bunk
boys.
bed with his
Yeah.
boys, like sharing bunk beds, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Into their
yep,
40s.
yeah,
Right, into their
I forgot
40s.
she had the age too.
Yep, bachelors.
Girl was paying attention,
She
okay?
was.
Um, and they had this moment where he like tells her this and that he applied to Princeton, etc. And she challenges him a little bit in this scene. I think and she was that really made him consider like, is that Simone's dream,
Yeah.
or is it yours?
Yeah.
And that sort of comes back up, right? Because then we see that Simone, which
Homegirl was already married and she was freaking out about getting married. Like,
yeah, well, and the thing
yeah.
is, I was like, I really thought that they were gonna have uh Jordan, right, be the one
Mm-hmm.
to call it off, and then they made it seem like it was like Simone, because of Jordan and because she loves Jordan so much. But
Yeah.
from an
That
audience perspective, I was just like, just give her a little bit of more leeway, like let Jordan be the one that calls it off.
right. He
But we really can't say she was married. She didn't live with him. They didn't sleep in the same bed. They may have had that little paper that
Ooh,
said it.
Nikki, you
Oh,
coming for their necks?
oh
Not.
no.
I'm not. They were married, but they weren't
Yeah,
living
to be fair,
together. That's
yeah,
what
they
I'm
were just.
saying. The whole thing about
That could have
It
marriage,
was a
possibly been
sham.
their
together.
next step because I think Layla had
That's
mentioned
true.
to Olivia when they were like with Simone in the dressing room, like, oh, Jordan and Simone are moving, like when they go to Princeton together. Um, yeah, I
She
mean,
did. I like missed that scene.
yeah, she was talking about like this, does Jordan want this? And Layla said something, because Jordan's going with you. And Liv was like, you and Jordan are moving?
Oh right.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
so I mean,
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
that
yeah. So
yeah.
scene.
they were gonna. Yeah, and I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. They
Yeah,
were gonna take that next step. It had been a little rocky, even though
it
Jordan
had.
and Simone are very cute. I've always been very honest about the fact that their relationship started rocky, and
It did.
it was still a little bit rocky early on in season three. Um, but then they like found their way as they started to get into like the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that is interesting, and I just thought it was interesting to have her sort of make this sacrifice, right? To
Hmm.
say like, we'll go back to dating, and um, we're still going to be together, and we're going to figure this out. And so that was how Jordan and Layla sort of ended that. She challenged him a little bit on that, challenged I think Simone a little bit on that to say like, he loves you, like go be
Yeah.
with this person who loves you. But it ended, and Simone and Jordan are no longer married. And so as we start season four,
Hmm.
which caused a lot of commotion,
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
with two
It
scenes.
it did. It did. Did they only have two? There
There
was
was
more
more
than
than
two
two.
scenes.
It was two scenes alone, and it was one scene with Liv. So three scenes in total.
Yeah, it felt very long.
It felt like
Yes,
it
it
I
felt
was
did.
love for
like,
sure. It was
I
two
don't
scenes though.
want this. Why is this taking up the duration of this episode? Like,
It did not.
You mean the duration of the Spolivia
oh yeah,
episode?
yeah. I was like, why does it feel like Jordala's having more scenes than Spolivia?
Which they did it.
I
Which
know a
they
lot of
did
people
it.
were commenting on that on Twitter.
They might have had more sort of like one-on-one conversations, maybe
Yeah, I
longer,
think it
but
was like longer
Spencer and Olivia,
conversations.
yeah, Spencer and Olivia were definitely on screen together more. Um, but yeah, so
Oh, I hear the shade,
they
Lexi.
were. I'm
Shade.
just speaking facts. I'm just speaking to what I saw on my screen.
Yeah, I think it's because their conversations were longer than Spolivia's. That's why it felt like that. Because Spencer and Liv, it was like little sentences here and there. It's
Hmm.
mostly directed around like the situation that was happening around them. But
Right,
yeah.
right, and I think that's like important context. Like someone,
Mhm.
she did just come from a very traumatic thing, whereas it was still very serious, right, but not as like life altering, or yeah, it
Right.
was life altering, but everybody knows what I mean.
No, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was about college decisions versus like Layla going through this crazy thing.
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, so in their first scene together, he's just like, promised himself he wouldn't be weird.
And he was
She's like,
acting very weird.
he was acting very weird.
Very
He
out of
promised,
character. Yeah.
yeah, and his wife was nowhere, or his ex-wife was nowhere to be found.
No, nowhere. Which is weird because she was
People were having fits with that
They
on
yeah,
were.
Twitter. Where's Simone? Where's
because she was in the
Simone?
finale with Olivia at the
Hey,
game.
I
So
asked
where did
I
she
asked
go?
those same things. I asked those same things.
Yeah.
Where was Simone?
Someone's probably like, "Oh
But
yeah, I'll just just go home." I'm done with this. Like what? Like where is
exactly,
she?
it really,
JJ looked so out of place in that
yeah, he
hospital.
did. He was very out of place. But yeah, so they had these scenes, and he, as we said, he was acting weird, and she said, "Promise broken." Uh, and she just starts to talk about things that are going on with her dad being overprotective. She mentions this fort that they built as they're both talking mutually about their dads. And then he gets her to open up about like what actually happened to her on the cliff. Um, and she's just sort of retelling that story to him. So they share that moment. And then later on, she lies to her dad that she's with Jordan, so he comes to find her and be like, let me know if you finna use my name. And then gives her just some advice, which is actually he was just sort of like repeating what she said to Carrie. Um, but yeah, so there it was two moments, and then at the end of the episode, they have this really sweet moment with Liv, one of my favorite in the series. I'm gonna be honest about that. Where they built the fort that they had when they were 11. Um, and so that was just those were their moments. It caused a lot of conversation because a lot of people felt it was forced. So what were your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I think from Jordan's side, it came off as a little forced. I don't know. I think he was just
Hmm.
acting weird. I loved the advice he gave her. It was good, but it just seemed out of character for him. I don't know. I mean, then again, she had just been through this traumatic experience. So, I mean, I don't, he's gonna give her more love and attention, but I don't know. I wasn't vibing with it very well.
I wasn't vibing.
I don't
Wasn't
know.
vibing. How about you, Nikki?
Um, I would say if I had seen a lot more clues from season one, season two,
Hmm.
I definitely would have been like, oh, okay, I can see somewhat of it happening, and just within the three scenes with them, we don't get too many scenes with
Right,
them.
right. Like I said, it wasn't. They didn't double their scenes, but they basically doubled their scenes.
I'd say it could have been a little more authentic on Jordan's part or
Mm.
naturally, but because he was so nervous and stuff. And I think that's how it's going to be for a couple more episodes because of what happened to her.
You made a good point that I guess I've been like thinking about in the back of my mind, but haven't really uh really acknowledge that is right. Is maybe it would seem forced, right, because of the situation and in the context of the show, uh, that she
Hmm.
just she was almost like killed,
Some
and so maybe he would be a little bit more awkward and it would come out a
Yeah.
little bit more forced.
Mhm. So everything is really up in the
Hmm.
air.
Yeah.
It's really tense right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And it's how would you, let's say this happened to your friend, how would you be able to talk to her if, let's say, she was kidnapped and almost was thrown off a cliff? It's going to be weird for a little bit.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're speaking facts. I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how
I
to
don't know.
respond to that.
Because I'd be that way.
I think I'd be like scared like for them and like the whole situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Because with those situations comes really bad mental health. I'd say, um, for me, I'm a lot like the both of them.
Hmm.
It's not as easy being biracial and being adopted, coming from abuse. So I connect with Olivia, um, Layla, a little bit of Asher and
Hmm.
Jordan, because I can be misunderstood.
And that's what's so great about the show is that like it has these sort of universal truths that people can connect with, and because of the
Hmm.
specificity of the story, that people really
Yeah.
identify with these characters, and it's great. Yeah, I thought it was excellent that Jordan was able to be there for Layla, like in these moments in the show, and you know whether or not they do end up being together, even though I would very much like to see it on my screen.
I mean, I think it would be different. I'd have to get used to it.
I'd
The
have to get
same
used
way
to it,
with Ash and
but
Olivia, I
I
had
don't
to
know.
get
Oh,
used
I
to it.
never got used to that. I was just like, dump that man, please, immediately.
I for Asher and Olivia, it just seemed like I could tell it was
Right.
gonna happen. They were leading. I mean, she had a whole boyfriend, and she was checking up on Asher 24/7. I knew they were gonna do it. Did I like it? No, but they had a lot more scenes together than Jordan and Layla did. And
That's true, but she was all for helping him. I mean, we've heard in season 1, she was talking to Chris. Her whole thing is, and it's the same way I'm built. I Some say I do have that savior complex. Was that helping people was her addiction. It's what helped
Right.
her.
Right.
And I wish they would have just stayed as friends more than
no,
their
yeah,
relationship.
100%. I wish they stayed as friends too. Yeah, I was gonna say I think Jordan learned from Olivia's past and how he didn't like approach all the things that happened with her. Like he didn't ever talk to her or give her advice. I think all of that made him more like
Hmm.
empathetic, and that's why he was able to um, give advice to Layla and be there for her because he learned from the mistakes that he made with his
That's a really
sister.
good way to put it.
That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So where,
Yeah.
sort of to round this out, where do you see this going? Where do you hope it goes? Where do you hope it does not go?
I see more Jordala happening, even though I don't want it.
You
I
said I
see
don't want it.
them
I don't want it.
having more scenes together. I would love for them to have a friendship. I think that'd be nice. Everyone could always use more friends. I think they'll just get closer in that aspect. I don't see anything romantic happening. I hope it doesn't, but that's the writers' decision.
So you don't see it happening, and you also don't want to see it happen. Is my So you don't think that they're going to go down
No,
that road?
I hope they don't, and I personally don't want to see it, just because of how much I want Jordan and Simone to stay together. But even if it does
Hmm.
happen, I still see Jordan going back to
Mm.
Simone in the end, and I don't think Layla deserves to be a rebound, considering everything that she's gone through with Asher and with Spencer. So I would love to see her with somebody new, or maybe just focus on herself for a while. Same for Jordan. If Jordan and Simone break up, they can both focus on themselves while still being friends. I don't think that they have to be in a romantic relationship to be there for
That's
each other, to care
that's
about one
very true.
another.
That's very true. What about you,
You know.
Nikki?
Um, I'd say it would be interesting to see where they dive into, especially when she's now living in their house. You
Right.
know, if I'm correct, NK was talking about the ups and downs of a relationship between Jordan and Simone and Olivia and Spencer. So that would be interesting. You know, if they do just happen to be like brother sisterly type of friendship, I'm cool with that too. I'm game. I love seeing different things
Mhm.
happen, different
Yeah.
storylines. It molds the characters into who they are.
Right.
So
Right. Well, I've been abundantly clear about my thoughts. I would like to see it on my screen because I think it has a lot of potential.
we know your thoughts.
Lexi loves
I just
Yes.
wanna I just think that I think it has a lot of storytelling potential and a lot that they could do with the storyline. That's more that would be very interesting to me. But yeah, I don't know if they will. It seems right. I was not expecting them to sort of come out the gate with
No.
these moments between the two of them. So it seems like maybe that happens. But if it happens, I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be rushed.
I wonder
Um,
how that's gonna feel like between Michael and Greta because
oh, there
Dan,
it's gonna be so awkward for them.
Daniel
Greta looks at
Daniel
Michael
had
like a
mentioned in
brother.
that podcast. I was like, it's so weird to me to think of
Yeah,
like Greta and like and Michael together. Like Sam was like, imagine them kissing. Like I don't. Maybe
exactly.
that's just because
Imagine them
like
making out. Right.
yeah, like their relationship in real life is very much so like big sister, little brother.
Brother
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
sisterly.
I mean, I agree with that statement. But I mean, Sam
Yeah, well,
wants
and
Jordala, so
Sam ships
she
it, and I'm like,
does.
see,
Which I'm
Sam
like,
and I
Sam.
are on
I'm
the
like,
same boat. Like we both think Jordan and Simone are cute, but in the last, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like they connected when they were talking in season 4, episode 1. I feel like they had little moments where things clicked.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I feel
I
like
guess
if-
that's the go. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, I feel like if they had more scenes together since season 1, it would have felt more real, more genuine, more
Genuine, more
authentic.
authentic.
I was also gonna say it would have made more sense if Jordan and Layla were the ones to date in season 1 than Layla and Asher. Because Jordan and Layla are very much so like the king and queen of Beverly Hills. At least they were at that time. They're very popular. So I don't know why they weren't the ones in their relationship together. I think it would have served way more angst between Jordan and Spencer. And
Then it would have been
definitely,
with Asher and
yeah.
Layla. But I never understood the pairing between Asher and Layla and how they lasted longer than Asher and Olivia or Spencer and Layla. I never saw the pairing.
Asher and
of
Layla was just very, it
Asher
was very
and Layla.
weird. I don't
It
know.
was
I
very
would have
weird.
more
It was
so
very weird.
bought the fact
Because
that
I don't know
Jordan
if
and
they
Layla
were
were together
popular.
since season 1.
I will say I'm glad that they weren't because I could just think the potential. And it begs the question: why weren't they together? If what was their feelings like over the course of them growing
I
up?
want to know why Asher and Layla were together.
Oh, yeah, I don't think
mean,
we're ever
some
gonna
people
get
say
that.
it's because
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think
we're
ever
never
gonna
gonna
get
get
those
that,
answers.
and it's just.
But
yeah.
but we will see what happens with Jordan and Layla. And with that, thank you both for being on the podcast. This
Thanks,
was a
Lexi.
fun discussion. We got
Thank you
into
so
a
much.
lot of
Much,
it.
Lexi.
Yeah, of course. Gotta have you both back on. All right, take care. Thanks for listening to Film Study, an All-American podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.